Okay. Well, thank you again for agreeing to meet with me for this interview. So, as you know, my dissertation topic is about the Step Up program. And so I wanted to meet with you today. I observed, I did an observation first with Amber, one of the interns. She's the program manager intern this year. And then I also did a document analysis to look at the recruitment material that you all send out for Step Up. And so I wanted to follow up with an interview with you as the executive director. Okay, so I have a few questions to ask you about Step Up in general. And the video that I'm using is only going to be used for the content of my class. So I'm using it as part of my final assignment. After that, it'll be destroyed. I'm not using it for anything else. But some of the information and the content that we talk about in the interview might be used for my dissertation.
Okay. That's fine.
Does that sound okay to you? Okay, so tell me your name and a little bit about yourself. I know you.
Okay.
So.
But pretend like you don't know.
Well, no, I mean, it's okay. It's
Okay.
okay that I know you. But tell me a little bit about yourself, your name, the job you do, your background.
Okay. My name is Jennifer Cosillo. I am actually an alum of San Diego State. I have my bachelor's in social work and my master's in social work. I have been working for the center since 2008, shortly after I graduated, actually right after I graduated with my master's. I started out actually I've been connected with the Consensus Organizing Centers as a program participant in 2004. And then I started working here as a program manager in 2008 and then moved up to a senior program manager, and now I'm an executive director. I am married and I have a son, 7 months old.
Wonderful. Okay, so how long have you been working with the Step Up program and at what capacity? And I might write a few notes when you speak. I am going to transcribe all of this, but I might write a few things just for my own clarification.
I have been working, when I started working for the Consensus Organizing Center, I was hired on as a program manager to manage the Foster Youth Initiative program, and which is a sister program to Step Up. So the models are the same. It models exactly how the Step Up program is operated, except the population is different. So we work with youth in foster care rather than inner city youth from City Heights. So there's that correlation. But I began to work with the Step Up program in 2012 as managing it.
Okay.
And so in 2012, so about 3 years, I've been managing overseeing the program.
Okay.
And now, or since about 2012, we've had interns, graduate level, master's level interns running the program, all the day in and day out duties. And then I meet with the manager to oversee how it's going.
Okay. Great. So tell me, I want to shift a little bit to talk about the type of students that we're looking at for Step Up. The question that I have is, there are, of the students and the alumni that we have, that you all have in this program, we know that 91% of them, 91.4 I think, percent of them go on to college after completing the entire program. There's the class, and then there's the program their senior year where they get introduction to college and scholarships and all those things. So 91.4% of those students are going on to college. And the question that I'm asking in my dissertation is, what factors can we attribute to this college-going success rate? And I have a couple of different research questions that I want to look at in a qualitative way. And so one of the things that I'm looking at right now early on is the interview process or the recruitment process. And so can you tell me a little bit about what type of student are you looking to recruit into the program? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. So the students that we're looking to recruit are the students that, they're not the straight A students, because we know that the straight A students are going to do really well. We know they're on their way to college. They're on their way to be successful. And we're not really looking for the students that are failing all their courses, because they need more intervention than what we can provide and more support. We're looking for the students that are your B.C. level student, that are maybe not as connected to other programs or supportive services, They're kind of, just there. They know they want to go to college, but they're thinking, maybe I'll start a community college, or I don't really know how to get into college. Nobody's really helping me. They're first generation college students. We're looking for those students.
Okay.
And they're the students that are really motivated to take this course. So we don't look at GPA. That's not really a factor. We're just looking at, are they motivated? Meaning, are they contacting us to set up an interview? Are they completing the essay component? Are they highly interested? We're looking at those pieces.
Okay. So motivation to go to college or motivation to be a part of the course?
Motivation to be part of the course first.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so this is a two-part question, and I'll read it in its entirety first, and then I'll break it up into two parts, so you're not answering the same thing at the same time. So for a moment, I'd like you to think about the initial classroom presentation that's given by the program manager and the flyer and the script that I obtained when observing the presentation a few weeks ago. And I sent these to you yesterday. Did you have a chance to review them? Okay. So do you think the flyer given to students during this presentation, as well as the informational content presented, attracts a certain type of student to apply to this program? And if yes, what type? And then the second part, which I'll ask again, is do you think that this information dissuades a certain type of student to apply to this program? And if yes, what type? So the first question again is, do you think the flyers given to the students during the presentation, as well as the informational content presented, so the flyer that's given out, and then I observed Amber's presentation to the students in the classroom. Do you believe that the content presented attracts a certain type of student to apply to this program? And if yes, what type?
To be honest with you, and I was looking at the transcript, transcript.
Mm-hmm.
Transcript.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the flyer. Edit that. Can you edit that?
Edit the flyer?
Yeah, no, edit the transcript.
Oh, edit the transcript?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Okay.
Just edit. I said that wrong.
Edit that you said that word wrong
Yeah.
right now? Okay, go
Can you
ahead.
edit that for me? Okay. So,
It's okay.
to be honest with you, I was looking at the flyer and the transcript, and I thought that it could probably maybe attract the student that wants to go to SDSU, because our logo is on there. It says San Diego State University, and possibly students that are interested in social work.
Okay. And is that the type of student that you're looking for the
Not
program?
necessarily. I mean, those are bonuses. If they want to come to SDSU, great, because we're here on campus and we can support them when they come here. The students that end up coming to San Diego State, we do end up kind of putting them under our radar and, sheltering them, and
Because
we follow them because it's easy. They constantly stop by our office and we check on them. It's just easy to follow them and see how they're doing. And then for the social work piece, because it's a social work course, even though we tell the students we're not trying to make you a social worker, but it's a social work class. So all of us are social workers. Amber is studying to be a social worker. Our TAs are studying to be social workers. My background is social work. The professor is a social worker. So I think that it could attract that type of population.
Do you think it dissuades anyone? Do you think it turns anyone off? That's the second part to the question.
I think that it could dissuade anybody who's not interested in social work, or it could potentially be, I can see how it could potentially be a little bit nerve-wracking to come to the university to take a college course, because for many of our students, it's their first time stepping foot on a college campus,
Right.
let alone taking a college course. It's a lot of firsts for them,
Sure.
donating their time for communities, for volunteer work, taking the bus, public transportation. Some of them have just been in City Heights their whole life and have never even come out of that little bubble. So I can see how that could be a little nerve-wracking for them.
Okay. Do you think there's any, I guess this goes back to the first question, or one of the first questions that I ask in regards to the type of student you're looking for. Do you feel as though you, and I want to be careful in how I say this because I don't want it, I don't want you to feel like you have to answer it in a way that I'm looking
Yeah.
for. It's more of just a blanket question of, you know, many would say that if you're looking at a program that helps first generation youth go to college, well, if you, you need to look out for those that might not know they want to go to college, right?
Mhm.
And so if what's presented to them is, hey, you look at San Diego State, but what about the students that might be scared
Mhm.
to go to San Diego State? Is that something that's an issue when you recruit?
No, not. You know, I haven't really. I don't think that's too much of an issue. I, you know, because what we do is we talk to the students even during their interviews about we we don't care what college you go to as long
Yeah.
as you go to college, and there's options for everybody. There's community college, there's a 4-year university, there's, you know, we can help you to see what that looks like transferring from
Right.
junior college or community college to a
Right.
4-year university. There is, you know, so we spend time talking to
Okay.
them about that, so that'll ease their mind. And we also tell them you don't have to come to San Diego State. We would like you to. I mean, that's great, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a bonus. But any university, any
Yeah.
college is good for us. That's what we want. That's our goal.
That's the goal. Do you think that's their goal when they interview, or are they scared going, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could go to college"?
Yeah, I think that some of them
Yeah.
are like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Some
Okay.
of them are like that. Some of them are like, you know, and a lot of some of the students are even, I'm doing this because my friends are doing it.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
But
Well,
if you think
I can
about
see
it,
that.
how many of us have done things because our friends do it?
Yeah, that
You
makes
know,
sense.
so a lot of the students are like, oh, my friends are doing it, so I'm going to do it. And then when they're in the class, they're like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
it's challenging, it's amazing, it's rewarding, but
Okay.
you know, so we do get some students that
Yeah.
are like that are like, I don't really know if I want to go to college. And then they take the college class and or they do the community service piece and they're like, this is amazing.
Right.
This is what I want to do.
Okay.
Then we get students that are like, yeah, I kind of want to go to college, but I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
And they need help. They need us
Okay.
to kind of show them that way.
Okay.
And then there's students that are like, yes, I do want to go to college. I kind of know how to get there, but I need somebody to help me a
Okay.
little bit.
That extra push,
That
maybe.
extra
That
push.
extra help. Okay. Um,
I do feel it's a relationship that we've built with the students. I think it's um, having the program manager that is working with the students. You know, she's overseeing, you know, the management of all the day in and day out duties, and then the teaching assistants that we hire. We hire undergraduate or graduate level students who have taken the 120 course or any social work course. And we're looking for teaching assistants that have a desire or passion for working with youth, and really are looking to have a meaningful relationship with them, and are looking at, you know, helping them get into college and
Right.
accessing higher education. So I think the relationships are really important. Having me, my position is that I'm constantly here, you know, 20, you know, not 12 months out of the year.
Right.
There's no break for me. The students know that if Amber's not here or one of the TAs isn't accessible, I'm here as a point of contact person. So I think having somebody who's the face of the Step Up program along with the program manager, I think that helps as well. And our scholarship program is another factor that helps because it's money that is awarded to our alumni. So all students who have taken the Step Up program, they're eligible to for up to $5,000 for all 4 years that they go to college.
Wow.
and that
So
is an
potentially
extra.
$20,000 potentially.
Yeah, and that really kind of keeps them in contact with me. So I have to keep in contact with them throughout the year. I have mid-semester or progress reports due. I contact them. I'm following up with them to make sure that they're on track to graduate, that they're doing well in their classes, that they need anything. So they know that I'm there as well. So they have me, they have Amber, they have their teaching assistant, they have 3 extra people in their network that's rooting for them, that's cheering them on
And
to
even
succeed.
explain to me a little bit. So the entry point is the class, right? The entry point is the step up
Mm-hmm.
actual class, social work 120,
Mm-hmm.
and that's their junior year. And then their senior year
Is where we have college workshops.
Okay.
So right now our program manager Amber is managing the monthly workshops. So every month for about almost an hour and a half to 2 hours, she meets with the students and goes over the whole process of applying. So at the beginning of the academic year in September, she went over, the when the applications are due, the due dates, the difference between UC schools, CSU schools, private schools, public schools. The following month, in October and November, it was personal statements. She helped them to get their personal statements started, proofread. Um, December is getting ready for the FAFSA, financial aid. January is helping them apply for financial aid. February is, looking for other scholarships.
Wow.
March, the FAFSA is due,
Okay.
and that's when we start opening up. They're getting their letters of enrollment and acceptance, or letters of acceptance. So she is working with them. She's going to work with them on that, on
Okay.
which school is appropriate for them.
So
And then-
relationships
yeah,
connecting.
so I think relationships is really important.
Okay. My next question was what supports and services are students receiving from Step Up, but you answered that. What about when they're in college? What do they get from the Consensus Organizing Center when they're in college? What kind of support or services do
so
they
when
receive?
they're in college, my goal for the Step Up students is to really check on them monthly. So I try to check on them monthly, whether it's through face-to-face, the students that are here on campus, a phone call, text message, social media. So now now the center is on Facebook and Twitter, and we have been able to reach out to a lot of our alum just based on social media, and then emails as well. So I try to check on them monthly to see how they're doing. And as I mentioned, the scholarship program really helps me to keep in contact with, a good group of, we have about 100 students.
That's a lot.
Every year.
That's a lot of alumni.
To really keep in contact with them. And even the ones that aren't part of the scholarship program that graduate, they still come back and help.
And you have TAs that come back, teaching assistants that come back, and then you have students that come back, alumni as TAs, or speak at the graduation.
Or they're in grad school now. Or they're, it's interesting because I have a couple of Step Up students that were in the program, and they're in my Social Work 382 class now, which is a macro course.
That must be neat.
It's
for
so
you.
neat. It's so neat.
Did you teach them in 120?
One of them I did.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So
okay.
It's very, very neat. So they come back, they help.
What are some of the challenges that your students are experiencing while in the program and while in college? And that's a two-part question, but what are some of the challenges that the Step Up students experience?
In high school and
in
then
high school and then in college.
In high school, it's an interesting time for them because they're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to figure out what they want to do in life. They're trying to figure out what to do after high school. So those are, several problems that they're facing, and then couple that with trying to be a college student as well. So they're in high school and then they're here and they're in college. So some of the problems are just, are you asking when they're taking the course for the program,
I
or
guess,
just in general?
I guess overall, I think overall my question really is, we're talking about a population here that is in a vulnerable community, that is a lower, on the lower spectrum of the socioeconomic scale. I know that a lot of the students are undocumented and first generation on campus or to a campus community. And so, what are some of the things that maybe the teaching assistants or the individuals that are working with these students have to work with the students on? I would assume that it's not just their homework.
Yeah. No. Like other issues that they face is, a lot of the students face even just the social problems they learn in class.
Yeah.
Poverty, homelessness. We've had students that their phones are disconnected, and then the next time they come to class they're like, well, we're living in a shelter, or we're living with, we're couch surfing. We have students that just recently, do you have any, you're a social worker, do you have any idea where I can get new clothes, because I haven't been able to afford any new clothes and I want to get some clothes for when I interview for jobs. We've had students who want information on food banks, on where to get food for the weekend. So Friday comes, they don't get that free lunch anymore in their high school. So when Friday hits, they're worried about when their next meal is going to come over the weekend. We have students who have to work to support their family. So it's a struggle to try to even get a Wednesday off sometimes, because they're saying, okay, I can get Wednesday off, but then you're asking me to take another day off to do community work, but I need to work to support my family. And these are 16-year-old kids. So there's a lot of those other issues.
Sure.
And it's interesting because they learn about that in this course. So it hits home to a lot of them.
Okay. It's probably good then that you have students that are in the school social work that are able to respond to respond to that.
Oh yeah, and it's a really neat experience for them because many of them are getting ready to start their internships the following year, or they are in their internship. So it's another experience for them to put under their belt. And what's really interesting about that is that many of our TAs, they still keep in contact with the Step Up students, and they
Even
still
after
act
the
as
program.
mentors even after. I mean, our program never really ends, so I hate saying that because it really doesn't. That's what's unique about our program compared to another program, is that our program is ongoing and there's no end date. Our college course ends, but then they have that senior year that we work with them. Then they're in college and we still work with them. So
okay. Let's see. I only have a few more questions. Let's see. What features of the Step Up program do you think must be present in order to replicate this program model? So I know that other universities are interested in replicating Step Up, and that's really what led to this idea for my dissertation. We've talked about this a couple of times. This idea of evidence-based practice, and this idea of if other universities or organizations are interested in having this and adopting a Step Up program in their area, we need to be able to find out, rather than just saying it works, really saying if it really works, what are the students or the alumni or everyone else saying as to why it works? So what do you think are the features of the Step Up program that must be present in order to replicate it?
definitely there needs to be, I'm thinking of administration wise and then logistics, and then we're going to go into other.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, there has to be a program manager, somebody at least 20 hours a week who can do the day in and day out duties, the organizing the class, the admin work, the hiring of the teaching assistants, the recruitment. There needs to be also teaching assistants. These are high school students. They're taking a college class. We treat them like college students, except they're not 20 years old, 21, 22. They're 16 and 17. Some are even 15 years old. So we need to be a little bit sensitive to that and hire teaching assistants to work with them throughout the college course. Because in addition to taking this college course and being on a college campus for the first time, they are also dealing with all of their family issues and all of those social issues that we were just talking about. So they need somebody to be their cheerleader that whole semester. I think that's really important. Another piece is we need a university to be a good partner and has a social work program. We also need funding. So that's the probably the most important, is the funding.
Funding, what is the funding for?
Funding for a whole class.
I know the answer, I'm just asking.
Yeah, if you're
Okay.
looking for somebody, if you have maybe an MSW intern, then you can get away with probably 25 to 30,000.
Yeah,
But if you're looking to hire somebody for,
Yeah.
part-time, 20 hours, you're looking at probably like 60. So double
and it pays
that.
for the staff.
Staff, professors' time, teaching assistants, and even the teaching assistants, some of them can be, volunteer. So that
Okay.
tuition, books, transportation, and I think that's
Yeah. Cost, without, you have to take away the cost for the students to be able to be in the program. You
Mhm.
can't attribute a cost to the students. Otherwise,
Yeah,
the likelihood is that it probably would
right,
go down.
right,
That they would
right.
they would be so quick to do it.
Right. I mean, exactly. So that's it. I mean, we pay their tuition, we pay their books, we give them bus passes so they can get here on campus. Our interns and teaching assistants can't drive them.
Got
So, but the first couple weeks of class, we do have the interns kind of show them what bus to take
Sure.
so they know which route. And then we have a buddy system so they all,
Go
go take
together.
the bus together. Yeah,
Okay.
it's really cute. Um,
Okay.
I think those are the important things. It's really important to hire people who are passionate about working with this population, though, and haven't, a good. You don't have to be great at everything,
Yeah.
but they really do have to. I mean, like I said, it's relationships.
Okay. The other question that I glanced over, because I feel like we answered it a little bit. It's my last question. We kind of answered this. What services do you think are needed to support the students? But we talked about relationships being there for the students. Did you want to add anything else about what services you think are needed to support the students, either during or after the program? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I think it's really important also to be able to be a good broker for the students.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Because as a center, the Consensus Organizing Center, we can't be their only support system. We can't be there's a few of us that can support them, but we can't be the only organization that's there. They have to be able, and we teach this to the students. We teach them about social capital and how that's important for them to build it. And that's why we have that service learning component where they complete the 40 hours of volunteer work to open up their networks.
Okay.
And that I feel like that's really important for me as a social worker and the executive director, is to really be a broker for them and connect them to other supportive services, other people and mentors, and help them to identify who's in their network that they can also go to. Because studies show the stronger support systems and protective influences you have, the more you have,
Right.
the more successful you're going to be.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So those are all the questions I have for you today. Do you have any questions for me or anything else you want to add?
When are you going to show this to your class?
I'm going to show it. My class. So I have class on the 20th, Friday the 20th. And so I believe I'm showing a portion of it, like a snippet of
the
it.
good part.
Yeah, I don't think the class is going to see the whole thing
Okay,
because I don't
good.
think we have time for everyone
Yeah.
to see it. And then a portion of this will then be included in my final present product. So I'm going to write a paper and then to draw conclusions and themes, and I will supply you with that as well.
Okay.
And then I'll include in my PowerPoint presentation to the class. The paper will go to the professor, and then the PowerPoint I'll kind of go over the main points.
Okay.
And then I'll include a snippet. So I'll
And
edit
what
it.
class is it for?
It's for advanced qual, so advanced qualitative methods. So there's quantitative and qualitative, as you know,
Yeah.
research, and this is for the advanced qualitative research methods. My dissertation study will be qualitative, so it will include focus groups, interviews. I might ask to interview you again with
It's
different
okay,
questions.
anytime.
The interviewing the alumni, interviewing maybe some of the teaching assistants, that sort of thing. Some of it will be focus groups, so it will be, a couple of students at one time, to have a conversation with them, maybe a couple TAs at one time, or one-on-one, that
Okay.
sort of thing. I want to be able to
You
look
should
at it.
When we have a group, next semester. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not this semester, right? Maybe next semester.
Well, yeah, it'll probably be next semester. The nice thing is because I know the timeline of everything, it's been really nice
Yeah.
because I have this semester and then I have next semester
Mhm.
that I'll be working on kind of solidifying everything. I have to do my dissertation proposal defense in March. And so that will solidify this is exactly what I'm doing. And then next year, the entire academic year will be really, really hitting it hard. I mean, I'll be working on it from now
Yeah,
until then, but
yeah.
I graduate in 2017.
Oh my
So
gosh,
I
it's
know.
right around the corner.
I know. Remember when I started?
I know.
I know, it's crazy. So,
So cool.
yeah, but I'll give you the video because I'm gonna upload it so I can give that access. But I think there's only 9 students in my class, so it's
Oh,
not like
okay.
there's 30
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right.
Awesome.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah, of
for your
course.
time. I appreciate it. Okay.
Mhm.